Rise ye Ashen Tarnished Chosen Undead, and welcome Souls fans, new and old, to the next installment of your Dark Souls 2 Scholar of the First Sin Platinum Guide Sunlight Metal Farming Edition. So, in the last video, we got a rather measly 9 Sunlight Metals in 59 minutes, or minus the intro, so let's say 55 minutes. We're hoping to get the remaining 11 in this video. I am going to recap what the build and how to get to where we are. The first important step is to get the build. So you're having Soul Appease and Soul Spear in your spell slots, Magic Staff of Wisdom for your Soul Spear. The main thing you're going to use though is the Witch Tree Bellvine for Soul Appease. Covetous Gold Ring 2 along with Watch Dragon Palmer, Jester's Cap and Prisoner's Tatters to maximise your item rate discovery. Northern Ritual Band plus 2 to give you extra uses for your spells, in particular Soul Appease. I've put the Jester's Gloves on, just I might as well gain a few extra souls along the journey, along with the Covetous Silver Ring. And then before you start, you need to make sure you join the Covenant of Champions in Medulla. The key reason for that is by joining, although it makes the whole game harder because it treats it as one level higher than you are, so New Game Plus for this area, it stops the limited spawn where enemies only spawn 18 deaths worth. After 18 kills they stop spawning. You join the Covenant of Champions so that they will that gets removed. They will infinitely spawn every time you go to a bonfire. So, with that said, we're at 19, we need to get to 30 Sunlight Medals, so we're going to continue. We come over to this rock here, Soul Appease, and hopefully it will hit both. Because we are right on the cusp of the attack, you might only hit one of them. And we're going to rest, rinse and repeat until they drop. Well, they're always going to drop, but specifically drop items. So there you go, there's an example of it only hit one. Because your little toe was a millimetre outside of the attack range. It is such a finicky one. But the key thing is, by doing this way, the one in the tent leaves the tent, so you don't have to move from this spot to see if he drops anything. And you have the chance of getting the double kill like that, so for maximum speed efficiency, I think you can't get much better than this in terms of killing falconers as quickly as possible to give yourself the most chance of getting Sunlight Medals dropped. Sadly, they don't drop based on number of kills. It is each individual falconer death has a slim chance of dropping a Sunlight Medal. Once you get to 10 Sunlight Medals, it looks like they should only drop Sunlight Medals. Prior to 10, when they drop an item, it could be an article of their armour, it could be a weapon, it could be a shield. However, it looks like, with one exception, which is where we got a double drop, outside of that, if they drop, once you've got 10 Sunlight Medals or more, it looks like they only drop Sunlight Medals, unless it is a double drop. And this is where Dark Souls 2 does its thing. I can stand in pretty much the exact same place and not get the exact same result. Oh, there it is. Because I'm going to kill this one just to offer myself a piece of variety. I don't normally kill him because it just takes longer. You've got to walk around there, you kill him. If he does drop, you're going to engage all of those warthoggy pig things. It's normally more hassle than it's worth. And I don't think it, although you're getting an extra kill on that particular cycle, the time you take to do it, if you did that every time, I think you miss just a few extra kills if you just focus on these two. Noting again, it's not about how many you kill, it's about them dropping. Still need 11 more. So once we get to 30, I will stop the video. I'm not going to use a farming video to show what to do afterwards, because if people do want to skip the farming, obviously you can't skip your own farming, but if you want to skip me farming, because all I'm doing is talking a bunch of nonsense, padding out while the game gives me horrific RNG, or variance as I like to call it. Then you are welcome to skip so. It becomes very uninteresting after the first probably 10 minutes, if I'm being generous, let's face it. Yay, number 20. 10 to go. To go, and that took us what, 3-4 minutes to get that one. So in the previous video, if you didn't watch, we went through a drought. I want to say it was something like 35 minutes with 0 drops. It definitely felt like that. There might have been one drop in there somewhere, but it just blurred because it was just such poor drop rating. Oh, number 21. So just be careful when you go and collect this, because it normally will trigger the remaining 2 falconers to come after you. Just get to this side of the wall, use solar peas, it should bop one, and then a quick R2 with your staff will finish the other one. We saw quite a few of that in the previous video. 21. I didn't actually check, I assumed it was a sunlight medal. Yep, 21. The only time it isn't is if it is a double drop, then it's not guaranteed to be 2 sunlight medals. However, if it's only a single drop, then it should always be a sunlight medal once you've got 10 or more. 9 more to go. So at this point we're already seeing a better drop rate than in the last video. That averages out at 1 every 3 minutes. But we could always hit that drought like we did in the last video. The last video started off, it was nice, it was every 3.5 minutes. And then we went half an hour with no drops. Or seemingly no drops. And then at the end of the last video, suddenly we got 2 near enough back to back. Come on, 9 more, and then we can get on to was going to say more productive. I mean, this is technically productive because we have to do this to get a trophy and a miracle, which then contributes towards another trophy, but productive in the sense of it feels like we're progressing something, whereas when you don't get a drop, it doesn't feel like what you're doing is actually progressing. When you're just repeating these actions for seemingly no avail. Come on. I can't remember if it was this video or the last where I explained. So the reason for the use of Soul Appease, instead of, because you could just use Soul Spear on individually on the two, but the reason for Soul Appease is normally the one in the tent does what he just did there. He gets hit. He doesn't die, for reasons unknown. He then comes out of the tent. The reason why that's important is because that means that he's in your visual range, so you don't have to check the tent for the item. You go back to the bonfire quicker. Now ideally, the game does what it's supposed to do, and you get the kill on both of them with the first soul. You Soul Appease, it kills the one on the left, it nearly kills the one on the right. The one on the right leaves the tent, you do the second Soul Appease, and then that's the quickest way that this farm works. But as you can see, Dark Souls 2 apparently has intriguing ideas about consistency when it comes to placement of character and impact of attack. That is my take on it. You know, I'm sure that may be a case of no, you were a fraction out, but that fraction, to me, looks exactly the same position. No. So this is where it all starts to debunk, because now we're 11 minutes in and we've still only had 2. So 5.5 minutes per sunlight medal. Unless he gives me one there. Nope. That's where you get that early hope, because things start well and then it all goes down. Well, that's what's supposed to happen in terms of killing them quickly. So what we're going to do when we get the 30 sunlight medals, what we're doing this for is, yay, number 22. Thank you very much. Don't mind if I do. What we're going to do is we're going to go to Harvest Valley, the mines, and we're going to head back to the Sunlight Altar where you join the Brilliant Covenant. And at that altar, we are going to offer the 30 Sunlight Medals. And in doing so, we're going to get trophy number 33, Selfless Giver, and also miracle number 21 of 28, the Sunlight Spear miracle. And those are the 2 reasons why we need to do this particular farm. And then after that, we're going to then go to the 3 areas where we met the Dark Sage in the wheelchair. And because we've met him the 3 times, each time we go back there now, the void will be open. There'll be a glowing dark void on the floor that we can enter into a mini world. You go through the world, you light a brazier, and on lighting the third in the third world, when you get to the end, you will then fight the boss of the void. So that's what we'll be doing after this. And then after that, we will move on to the DLC. The shrines. But first, the game needs to have a long hard look at its drop rates for me, so that we can move on to those further things. Please. If you do miss one of the drops, you go back to the bonfire by accident and you only saw the drop at the last minute and you go, no, don't worry. The drops do stay on the floor even if you rest at a bonfire. I don't know if there's a limit to how many rests before they disappear, or if they do just stay indefinitely. I don't know. But I do know that they should remain on the floor if you rest at a bonfire at least once, for at least one rest. I also know that they should drop sunlight medals every now and again after you kill a falconer. But apparently they don't want to. Moan, 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 whine, complain. Is the diagonal placement the new way to do this? No. Love to see in the comments if anyone can point out what I'm doing differently. If you can see it and it's actually quite obvious. But, from my side, I'm always trying to go to the same spot as the last successful time. Could be similar to throwing darts, where you stand at the oche and you think you're doing everything exactly the same, and unless you're particularly good at darts, the variance factor can be quite high, even though, as far as you're aware, you threw it exactly the same as last time. Maybe that's the same thing. I think I'm doing everything exactly the same, but actually no. So that time I do know that my foot was slightly further to the left. The left foot was right on the edge of the left rock, rather than on the middle. So if I aim again, oh no, that was middle again. But that time middle worked fine anyway, whereas previously middle did not. Right, we're going to kill this last one. It's been a while. Nope. I think I said in the last video, because I don't kill that one that often, because it's not time efficient, whenever I do, I'm like, oh well, I'm doing something different, so it's going to have to reward me. Nope, now we're too far to the right. No, that was the blue from his souls, not from the drop item. Oh, well this is now terrible. We're on what, 17 minutes for 3? I would prefer it to not do the same as the last video and wait till right at the end to actually start doing useful things. I would far rather have them evenly spaced than a massive drought and then it gives you all the ones afterwards that it could have given you in those even spacing. And it feels like evil spacing because of how long it's taking to get these 30 sunlight medals. I did a fair amount of commenting in the last video about Dark Souls 3 and taking Covenant item farming to a whole new level of ridiculousness. Vertebrae shackles taking well over 16 hours to get to the 30 vertebrae shackles. And to be clear, that's 16 hours of doing the farm. That's not going at 16 hours, but there's some breaks in there. No. That's taking the breaks out. Because obviously you didn't do it in 16 hours in one hit. It was across a week where I was taken ill with COVID. So I couldn't do much more than just sit on my backside and play video games. 23, there we go. Right, 7 to go. Seven to go, and we've got 36 minutes essentially. Oh, there's number 24! Are you actually going to give me this double? There's 24. Oh, 25! That's more like it. Pop. 5 to go. Come on. Let's get this done so we can give the good people who are following along as quickly as possible to the next part of their journey. Which could be super quick if they've just skipped my farming and gone straight to the video to go, hey, now you've got 30 sunlight medals. But for anyone that is listening to this in the background, either while you're doing your own farming or anything else, firstly, thank you. You know, genuinely appreciate it. But yeah, we will get there. But that's what, so we've got 6 in 22 minutes. 2/3 of the way into what we got in the whole hour of the last video. It just goes to show this is purely variant spaced. Yeah, as I say, it's each kill has a small percentage chance that they will drop. So if you're particularly lucky, then you might get all 30 nice and quick. If you're like me and you are normally not lucky when it comes to variance-based things, then I'm afraid you're going to have to spend a bit more time. But yes, if this is too much for you, then I strongly advise do not do an off. Oh, yeah, there you go, 26. Do not do an offline Dark Souls 3 Platinum run. Find someone who has already got all of the rings and weapons and get them to drop them for you. Or at least utilize them to join like the Mound Maker's Covenant and then exploit having them summon you and you kill them or anything along those lines. Because there are 4 or 5 Covenant items in Dark Souls 3 that you need to farm. And oh, there's no 27. Okay, this is now coming along nicely. Not gonna lie, this excuse me, sorry. But not gonna lie, this is what I expected it to be. I genuinely was expecting this farm, the total, to take somewhere in the region of an hour. There you go. So that's what I was saying before about if you get a double, you are not guaranteed for it to be a double. Only the first one is guaranteed to be the Sunlight Medal. But there we go, we're on 27. Yeah, it is genuinely possible, with some good variants, you can get all 30 in around an hour. Technically you could get it faster than that, but yeah, this has been particularly slow and a bit more painful than it needed to be. Yes, that's clearly what I wanted to do. Double check my count is correct. 27, 27, yep. Definitely don't want to do any more than we need to. See, look, left side of the stone and nothing. A lot of good things about Dark Souls 2, however the hitboxing, not one of them in my opinion. Okay, 3 more. That's already 8, so we have nearly, in 26 minutes, we are 1 away from what took us 55 minutes in the last video. So we don't quite have the pacing for 30 in an hour, but we could have the pacing for 30 in an hour and a half. In this video specifically. Obviously in the last video we didn't at all. We got 9 in one video. And if Dark Souls 2 continues to be this annoying with its completely random hitboxing of the Solar Piece Miracle, it will take us even longer. Come on. Right. Badoosh. No, that's not what we were doing, was it? Come on. 3 more. So the 3 more will happen in this video. That much I am pretty much certain on. It is incredibly unlikely, he says, worrying that he's about to curse himself, that we're not going to get 3 more in 28 minutes. However, it could be the case of you give me 3 more in 10 minutes and we are done with this farm. Just saying, you kinda messed me over in the last video, to put it nicely. No, stop it. That's what you get. Come on. Let's get to that point of frustration. So close, and yet so far. And we've reached the droughty period once more. Yeah, you rewarded my double kill. Thank you. 28. 2 more. And it should reward it because for some reason getting that hitbox to do what it's supposed to do consistently does not work. Plug in the laptop because that's complaining it has no power. Come on. 2 more. 2 more sunlight medals. Please? I would like to order 2 sunlight medals, please. In the event that you are, if you have far better luck than I do when it comes to their drop rate, apparently that's what I need to do, is just start talking to you about next things, and that's what makes them spawn. 1 more. But yes, in the event that you do, don't worry about any extra souls that I've got. We've done the leveling. Souls are, at this point, relatively Yeah, we're going to have enough for what we need at this point. 30! Ow, ow. I don't even care. I got 30 sunlight medals. That's all I care about. Right, and there we go. I'm going to go to Medulla, and that's all I'm going to do in this video. I don't want to have a farming video then proceed any further, so we will cover next steps at Harvest Valley to commit our sunlight medals to the Bright Covenant. We'll do that at the beginning of the next video. So, confirming, we finally got there. 30 sunlight medals, that's what we needed to get, and that is what we have achieved. Hopefully your journey to 30 sunlight medals was quicker and easier than mine. Hopefully you are still willing and happy to continue following the guide on your way to your platinum of Dark Souls 2. Outside of this, there are only 2 farms left in the whole thing, and they are your New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus. Each of them will have the same thing, which is we are going to farm the Rotten boss. We're going to fight him to get to the number of souls that we require. So in New Game Plus, we only have to fight him, I think, like twice to get to the million we need. In New Game Plus Plus, we're going to fight him somewhere in the region of 8 times because we need to get to 2 million souls to skip the majority of the game that we don't need to play in New Game Plus and Plus Plus. But that is for when we get to New Game Plus and Plus Plus. We're going to do the Dark Voids in the next video, and then we'll move on to the DLC after that, so I can't wait to see you there. Thank you so much. Please do, if you found this useful and helpful, please do like, please subscribe if you're not subscribed. Offer feedback, questions, anything, suggestions in the comments. Thank you so much for following along. Can't wait to see you in the next video, and bye for now.